Declan Rice picks it up, barrel-chested and pushing his pectorals out as he strides into midfield. He thrusts it into Partey, goes back to Gabriel and then back out towards the left-hand side, and Raheem Sterling, who has just 3 goals in 30 appearances, but he has a brilliant record against Leicester City. Sterling, 4 goals in his last 3 Premier League matches against them. Lewis Skelly trying to keep Arsenal on the front foot. Stretching was Partey. Indeed, he did enough to put him off, and Okoli manages to get it clear, and now it's picked up by Leicester, and they switch the play to the left, and they're urged to get forward by their supporters. Christensen, with the blonde hair, goes steaming forward, then checks back, gives it back to Okoli, and they retain possession and go back to the halfway line.
That was good play from Leicester, because what they don't want to do is just think, well, we're under pressure, let's flick it round the corners and into the sides for Jamie Vardy to chase in. If he's not ready, and the 2 centre-backs will deal with it. They didn't. They tried to play their way through. Got Christensen out on this left-hand side. It was a better build-up from Leicester. You just don't want them to see them go too long too early.
3 minutes gone. Cardiff 0, Bristol City 0 in the Championship. Oxford 0, Portsmouth 0. Big game at the bottom of the table. And Preston 0, Burnley 0. I said that about Oxford being at the bottom of the table, but Gary Rowett has done a very good job since coming into the Kazam Stadium and has moved them up into 16th. Portsmouth up into 18th at the moment, and they would love to put a bit of distance between them and the relegation zone. Those two were very much in a battle earlier in the campaign, still are really. Here is Saliba on halfway. Infield it goes to Partey. Partey just slides down the side of the centre circle inside Leicester territory and just nudges it into the path of Rice, then to Lewis Skelly, then back to the left, and right tight on the touchline, moving up the field is Sterling. Into Lewis Skelly, he's got to the edge of the box, was dispossessed by Samari in the centre of midfield. He's looked to find Vardy, who shows his experience by putting ball in front of man, but not able to hold on to it, and Arsenal win it back in the centre circle and give it to Jurrien Timber, the bulky right fullback, who sends it down the right into Odegaard. Odegaard tries to just flick it into the path of the Dutchman, who has made an inside channel run down the right side but couldn't reach him, flicked down a play and goes out for a goal kick away to our right.
And I think that's what Leicester will be trying to and hoping to do with Martin Odegaard, which is to make sure he goes outside of that number 10 role, drifts. He likes to drift to the right mainly, being left-footed and cutting in. But the further you can have him away from that number 10 role, I think the better it is for Leicester City. And another point as well, indeed, he's starting in that midfield area. I think it's key because I think Declan Rice has been outstanding in this recent decent run in the Premier League, and he's getting forwards more and more and having more of an influence on games, and indeed he's very much alongside him.
Yeah, he's just following him, isn't he? Almost man for man at the moment, just keeping an eye on his progress. Ndidi, who returned last week for the first time since December the 8th because of a hamstring injury, had 10 games out for Leicester. He is an important player for them when he's up to speed and in full form. Given away by Partey, but he quickly reacts after hitting it against Ayew, who is closing him down, and the ball bounces through to David Raya away to our left-hand side. The Leicester boss, Ruud van Nistelrooy, said that the protest would not bother him, but they did need the fans to get behind them right from the first whistle. Rice trying to run in behind as the ball has been played forward by Timber. And Rice was chasing it, but it was too heavy from the Dutchman and straight down the throat of Mads Hermansen.
And just to make that point again about Declan Rice, I think because Martin Odegaard likes to drift right and drift deep, they're going to need some support there, and some physical support as well for Leandro Trossard, who's playing through the middle. He will need runners beyond him to try and get himself into the game.
Rice has been terrific this season. Ball played out towards the right side, given to Odegaard, who's deep inside his own territory. He's being chased by Samare. A little flick by Trossard allows Nwaneri to escape. Indeed, he tries to keep tabs on him. Very difficult to do. He skips past Ndidi, and then De Cordova-Reid feeds Lewis Skelly, who gallops forward down the left onto the angle of the penalty area. Sterling takes over now, runs into the box. He's being faced up by Justin. Plays it out to Lewis Skelly, who clips the ball to the back post, but there's no one at that back post. They'd all been drawn to the near post in Arsenal red, and it's cleared away by Ayew in the left full-back position.
Yeah, it was intricate play from Arsenal, slick down that left-hand side. Sterling just delayed it enough, waited for Lewis Skelly on the overlap, just tapped it to his left-hand side, and Lewis Skelly's I actually think he's got to do better. He's got to see that there isn't a player at the back post and just fire that into the legs at the near.
It's a day which has had to contend with quite cold conditions, but also drizzly rain. It's the kind of day that you're not allowed to do it anymore, really, but if we were playing Sunday League, this would be perfect slide tackle weather, wouldn't it? Here is Okoli, deep inside his own half, back to Fass, and then all the way through to Hermansen, back out to the left-hand side of the area, and Okoli to Christensen, who flicks it over towards Vardy, who heads the ball into the path of El Khanous, who couldn't get it under control. Sterling had dropped in and won it back for Arsenal, and they're in possession again, the Gunners. Now Rice, left side of the centre circle, moves forward for Arsenal, then just nudges it into the path of Sterling. Sterling tries to skip away from Justin, who was physical with him, shrugged him off the ball. Referee says play on. Justin comes forward, Decordova-Reid sprints down the right, but Justin is allowed to travel ages with the ball, and he's now moving into Arsenal's half and then looks to feed El Khanous. But when he did that, I think he was surprised himself about how much time he had on the ball. Gabriel nabbed it because he wasn't really set to play the pass.
And the problem was he just slowed everything up. He just allowed Arsenal to get back into a decent position, whereas actually down the side to Decordova-Reid would have been the better player, waiting for Jamie Vardy to make the run.
Nwaneri takes over on the right-hand side, gets around the outside of the defender, produces a cross which is flicked away by Okoli. Comes back to Odegaard, who's on the edge of the area, tries to get a shot away. Instead he scoops it to Trossard, who's broken in behind, disflicks the ball with the outside of his right foot, really, and it wasn't perfect from Leandro Trossard, and it's an easy stop for Mads Hermansen. But Odegaard there just spotting the run and then flicking the ball over the top and causing a bit of a problem for the Leicester City defence.
But that's the problem you're going to have. Trossard, I'm pretty sure, would have been offside. That's the problem you're going to have, though, if Martin Odegaard gets into that 10 role. He's just so clever. He's got such wonderful close control, and he can just flick it. He just scooped that up and over the top of the Leicester defence to Trossard, who went with the wrong foot, the right, trying to use the outside, whereas he should have volleyed with his left. I'm pretty sure he would have been offside anyway.
Arsenal might be forgiven for all the doom and got the wrong end of the stick about them and their form, because they are unbeaten in 14 Premier League games, Arsenal. They've lost just 5 games all season, and 3 of those have been against Newcastle United. Here is Ayew down the left-hand side, moves towards the left angle of the penalty area. Leicester on the attack here. Samari goes beyond him, then gets to the byline, produces a cross, comes back to the edge of the area. Indeed, he's going to crack one. He takes a deflection, and it goes into the arms of Raya. And do you know what? I'm not sure whether that was a good deflection or a bad one, but Raya dealt with it, because actually the way Ndidi hit it, I was expecting the net to bulge. That was a brilliant break down the left-hand side by Leicester, scooped back in by Samare, came out to Ndidi, edge of the 18-yard box, and the intervention from Gabriel actually steered it into the arms of Raya.
I mean, you've got to say it's excellent from Samare. He doesn't just stand and watch. He makes sure that he tries from midfield to make a run beyond. He gets played down the left-hand side. It's a brilliant cutback, and then as it gets headed out towards Ndidi, it's there to be struck with real power. Sadly, when you hit it with your shin pad, you just don't get that power, and in the end it was quite easy for David Raya, albeit Gabriel diving in front of him doesn't really help him.
Yeah, he didn't get a touch on it, Gabriel. He just obscured the view for David Raya, which led to a little bit of a pause in the reaction from the goalkeeper, but he did well enough to stop it. 10 minutes gone, and it is Leicester City 0, Arsenal 0, live on TalkSport. 0-0 everywhere else in the early kickoffs today in the Championship, League 1 and League 2. We'll tell you if there's any developments. There is live commentary over on TalkSport 2, where Preston are playing Burnley. Arsenal have the ball here, and it's just left of the centre circle. It's with Gabriel, the Arsenal centre half, and he tries to play it forward, but he's shut down by Bilal El Khanous. And it ricochets back into David Raya's pass. We've got live commentary a little bit later on of Aston Villa's game in the Premier League. That's 3 p.m. start on TalkSport 2. And remember, next week, what a week we have for you. Real Madrid and Manchester City on Wednesday night, and Liverpool versus Aston Villa all on the same night. And that means that Liverpool will actually take an advantage in terms of games played over Arsenal by the time we get to the middle of next week. And for so long they've been chasing Arsenal. This is the first weekend that everyone's been level. The gap at the moment is 7 points. Arsenal would love to close that to 4 if they can get all 3 points here today. Bayern Munich Celtic Tuesday night as well is well worth a listen. I'll be with Troy Deeney for that one. Ball down the Leicester City right, taken on halfway by Justin to Decordova-Reid. He then shuffles it back into the path of Wout Fass. Fass then plays it square, and then Ndidi tries to knit together a possession based play, which doesn't come off because he was loose with his pass, gave it away to Arsenal, and Ødegaard has spun the ball in behind for Sterling to chase into the left corner of the field, trying to hold off Justin. Into the box he goes, gets a 1-2 with Trossard, plays it through the 18-yard box, but there was no one there to aim at, and it was cleared away by Okoli.
And that's what they've got to figure out, Arsenal, is when Trossard does move out of that position, who is going to fill the hole? Is it going to be Declan Rice or Ødegaard? They were nowhere near. Nwaneri's not going to get in there from the right.
Here's Nwaneri's crossing towards the far post, looking for Declan Rice, comes back out of Partey, who strikes it, has scored against Leicester before, hits it straight at the defender. The Leicester get it clear, but can't hold on to the ball. Vardy had 2 touches, kept hold of it, tried to play an Ayew, then he lost it because Nwaneri was putting him under pressure, and Arsenal won it back very well, high up the pitch. It's Ødegaard right side, flicking it over the top again, looking for the run of Trossard, but Okoli was equal to it that time, knew what was coming, just held off Trossard and allowed it to float across his face and bounce out of play for a goal kick away to our right-hand side. This is TalkSport. It's TalkSport on a Saturday lunchtime game day with Adrian Durran taking you round the grounds. We'll be back at 2:30 this afternoon, but we're here at the King Power Stadium, where it's Leicester 0, Arsenal 0, live on TalkSport with Sky Sports. And don't forget, you can stream the biggest Premier League games without a contract on now, like Crystal Palace Everton today, live. Search now Sports.
Brilliant bit of skill from Nwaneri, looking for Declan Rice,
and he's found him as well, but then he's sandwiched by a combination of Justin and Wout Faes and taken out of the game, and the ball goes back to Hermansen.
That was beautiful though from the 17-year-old Nwaneri. Just a little manipulation, rolled his left foot over the ball, little touch with the right, and then a nutmeg on Christensen with the left, and then looked to play Declan Rice in over the top.
Well, he's got a big responsibility on young shoulders. Arsenal's second youngest Premier League goal scorer after Cesc Fabregas, the youngest ever Premier League player, the second youngest Englishman to score in the Champions League after Jude Bellingham. He's a star in the making, all right. He's been well talked up by his manager, who said that eventually he could be a number 9. But he's got a long career ahead of him. He is, as I mentioned earlier on, 17 years and 330 days. And when you are so young and you burst onto the scene that early, there is a lot of expectation on your shoulders, and you do go through peaks and troughs. Here's Bilal El Khanous into the penalty area with a cross. It's over Vardy's head and cleared away by Timber at the far post. He then manages to get it out towards the far side and find Rice, who then in turn gives it to Sterling. Sterling goes infield through the centre circle now, running with the ball at his feet is Partey, then further wide onto Ødegaard in the inside right channel, moving up the pitch towards the Leicester penalty area. Square ball into Trossard, who's dropped deep out of the box, tries to reverse it back to Nwaneri, but it was a poor ball. Christensen gets it away, but to no one in particular, and Ruud van Nistelrooy, patrolling the touchline, just helps it to Saliba in the right full-back position for a throw-in.
Yeah, it was a good break from Arsenal after a decent cross from that right-hand side from El Khanous. Ronaldo not reacting quick enough at the back post to get in front of Timber, and Arsenal broke down the right again with Nwaneri and Ødegaard.
Yeah, I'm not sure that the Leicester support have universally taken to Ruud van Nistelrooy. They certainly won't be popular if they become the first English top division side to lose 5 successive games since without scoring since Norwich 5 years ago. But they've so far kept Arsenal at arm's length. We played 15 minutes. Here is Partey on to Jurrien Timber. Timber trying to nudge it out towards the right-hand side, where it's collected now by Nwaneri, who flicks it towards Declan Rice with a header, and it goes wide of the far post. He had it back from whence it came, rising on the edge of the 6-yard box, higher than the Leicester City defence, and he guided that header wide of the goal.
Well, it was a lovely little clipped ball in from Nwaneri in towards Rice, who had made the late run. It's just that he was behind James Justin, who did well actually to get back into position. It meant it was a difficult header for Declan Rice, because he saw it late.
And he was right. It came off of Justin. It should have been a corner.
Yeah, he could see that straight away, but still, it was good defending from Justin to make sure he got back into that position because of the late run from Rice. But Nwaneri, excellent delivery from that right-hand side.
And they need invention. They need players like Rice to crash the box. Rice, 7 assists, 3 goals only this season. 7 assists is pretty good. Most of those dead ball situations. But he needs to contribute scoring goals, something that Danny Murphy said on our Monday night show a few weeks ago. And when they went off to warm weather training, they did sign off having been defeated by Newcastle United. Martinelli had picked up an injury. A series of body blows, really, a key results like the Villa one going against them. The injuries won't stop coming. And Mikel Arteta now just looking on at Trossard, who's got a bit of treatment actually in the first 17 minutes. He had a couple of whacks from the Leicester City players. He's just hobbling back into position once again.
Yeah, he's probably muttering under his breath, Trossard, thinking, this is why I don't want to play centre forward. These big centre-halves just want to drag their studs down the back of my Achilles when they get the chance. And Coley, it was that just trod on the back of his heel.
What's that like? Just tell us what that feels like.
What, studs on your Achilles?
Go on.
I'll show you at half-time. You'll like it.
I won't.
It's horrible.
My job when I was a clogger was doing the studs on the back of the Achilles, not receiving it.
It's the one thing you forget when you retire is how, like, every weekend you've got something new. Yeah. Some cut, some stamp, some dead leg that you've just constantly got to live with.
0-0. We've played nearly 18 minutes. You're listening to a medical special live from King Power Stadium. It is goalless.
I'm surprised you didn't tell us about Ndidi's hamstring, whether it was the belly or the tendon.
Yes, we have got quite into that today, haven't we? But we've had to because of the level of injuries that have been faced for both Arsenal, but also Leicester have had their problems this season too, and so have many clubs up and down the country. The ball still out over on the far side, waiting for the throw to take place. Justin quite happy to slow the game down now, kicks the ball long into the channel. Gabriel will eat that up rather interestingly, and then it's taken on by Saliba towards the near side before eventually it is given back to David Raya. Here is Saliba on the edge of his own penalty area. There's not much speed and tempo about the Arsenal build-up, is there? They're quite happy to keep hold of possession and work their way up to the penalty area, and there's not an intense press from Leicester City.
That's an understatement. I mean, they are the worst pressing team in the Premier League. Leicester, they do sit off the most of any side in the Premier League, allow the opposition to have the ball. And Arsenal, like you say, the tempo's not been particularly quick. Interesting, though, that when Leicester do go into a defensive position, it's more a 4-4-2, which then actually allows Thomas Partey to have the freedom to keep getting on the ball and dictating that tempo and possession, rather than El Khanous maybe sitting on Partey and then Jamie Vardy trying to work between the two centre-backs.
Well, today's game is dedicated to the Premier League's More Than a Game campaign to highlight and celebrate the positive impact of the Premier League and its clubs and its communities. Today, Leicester City choosing to highlight football against homophobia, and interestingly, it was a bit in the programme today about Ruud van Nistelrooy going to meet the Foxes' Pride and discussing how important their role is in building ties with the LGBTQ community with the Leicester City support. And Ruud van Nistelrooy quite happy to dedicate a part of his programme notes to that cause today, and saying that the club is for everyone. Offside flag up against Raheem Sterling over on the far side. Flag waved by the assistant on this near touchline, Timothy Wood, and it's a free kick to Leicester right on the edge of their own penalty. I'm not entirely sure that he was offside there, was he?
That was tight, really, really tight. I just think the contrast, isn't it, of the experience of Raheem Sterling on that left-hand side and the almost young free spirit of Nwaneri. No scar tissue on him, is there? He's playing with real freedom and excitement in his play, whereas Sterling just looks a little bit stiff and lacking in confidence.
Less willing to take risks, I think. Nwaneri,
yes.
Lovely little squeeze through two players and then plays it forward in towards the middle of the park. Ødegaard sends it to the right. Trossard is offside. I mean, if they don't manage to find the breakthrough, they may well try something a little bit mad, a bit left field, and it has been a bit of a stilted start. Mikel Arteta did an interview earlier today in which he discussed the possibility of playing Riccardo Calafiori as a striker, in a sense, and he said it has been done before, So that might well be in his thinking a little bit later on, something to look out for. Here is Ayew trying to turn away from Partey. Partey got too close to him, just left of the centre circle, span around the corner and drew the foul. It's a free kick, which Sam Barrett will administer, just left of the centre circle. It has been a stop-start, 22 minutes here at a rain-soaked King Power Stadium in Leicester. And later on today, Adrian will take you round the grounds. Tomorrow, the Sunday session comes from Tottenham Hotspur. It's Tottenham against Manchester United, 13th versus 14th in the Premier League.
I wonder why Steve Walsh and Matt Elliott were discussing with Calafiori before the game. Two of the best.
Here is the free kick. Christensen sending it towards the far post, headed away. And then it's collected by Sterling, far side. And then he plays a ball from left to right. Leicester didn't make the most of that free kick. Lovely touch by Nwaneri into Ødegaard. Ødegaard takes away Christensen, then turns and plays it against the back of the heels of Timber. Gets a ricochet. It comes back to him. They're back in centre field here with Partey. Wide on the right now is Yuri and Timber. Nwaneri down the right if they can use him, but Leicester getting back to plug the gaps very well here. And then it's played forward by Partey. He's given the ball away a couple of times cheaply, but Leicester can't get out. Now they might. Vardy looks to escape and then ran across the path of Thomas Partey, drew the free kick, and that's got to be a yellow card for breaking up a promising attack if it's a foul.
The referee doesn't think so. He feels as if Jamie Vardy just cuts right across Thomas Partey and doesn't actually make a challenge, but inadvertently clips his heel and falls over, which I think is the right decision from the referee.
I'm not sure technically that's the right, though, is it? If you're breaking up a promising attack, you have to produce a yellow card. It's something that...
But he didn't actually move.
So was it a foul then?
Well, he didn't actually change any part of his movement to make a challenge. Jamie Vardy ran across him.
So should he have given a free kick, do you think?
It is a free kick because ultimately his heel clips and he gets in his way, but he didn't make
so it's accidental contact.
Yes.
Here is Ndidi out towards the right-hand side. It's played forward by Justin into the path of Bilal El Khanous. Justin's got a problem. He immediately released the ball into El Khanous, then went down, and he's holding the back of his ankle, isn't he? Or he's now taking his boot off. I'm not entirely sure what's happened there, but immediately we have a break in play, and everybody comes over for a timeout. And I think everybody's probably quite happy about that, because Arteta wants to get a little bit more urgency into his team, and Ruud van Nistelrooy just wants to give his players a little bit of breather. They haven't had to do too much defending. In fact, they didn't have to do too much defending on Friday night. They looked pretty solid, actually, in that game against Manchester United, but weren't tested that much. It's a similar sort of story so far today. They've maybe had a little bit more to contend with, but they've defended resolutely.
They've been in a very structured defensive position as a team. They've dropped deep, they've defended very well between the 18-yard line and the halfway, and they've allowed Arsenal to have the ball in that semicircle around their defence, and Ødegaard to pick the ball up wide, and Nwaneri to pick the ball up wide, and then try and deal with the crosses, which they did against Manchester United. It's difficult for Leicester. You've got to look at a side like Arsenal, wonderfully talented, but only Bournemouth have won the ball more in the final third than Arsenal. They will this is going to be so difficult for Leicester to play out because of that energy and intensity from Arsenal. They've just got to try. They can't just hit the high floaty ball up there for Jamie Vardy. When they do play, and if it is a percentage ball, they have to play down the sides and give Jamie Vardy a genuine chance to get on the end of one of them.
Well, James Justin is back up, and he's now looking as if he's going to come on. I wonder if he hurt himself when he went up for that header with Declan Rice. Koulibaly, who's the new signing from Parma that they got in the window, the only new signing that they made in the window, is stripped and ready for action. Whether or not he's going to come on is up for debate, because he did get ready and look as if he was about to come on, and then he went and sat down again. So we'll see what happens here. I don't know if he's going to give it a couple of minutes or so. Do you know what I did see today, by the way? Martin Keown. Now, you might remember many years ago that Ruud van Nistelrooy had a bit of a problem with Arsenal and Martin Keown. I don't know if you ever heard about that. But he was asked about it in his press conference, Ruud van Nistelrooy, and said, you know, he's never seen Martin Keown since. So I wonder if they met today. Apparently they did. Here is Trossard. down towards the edge of the penalty area. It's cleared away by Hermansen. Did I just hear that Keown apologised to him? Is that right? Apparently Keown apologised to him on live TV.
Wow.
Is Martin all right? Someone needs to check his temperature. Never saw that coming. Ball kicked over the top. Foul given against the Arsenal defence, and now a free kick for Leicester City. This is taking place literally a step back from the centre spot, right? And the man taking it is the goalkeeper, Mads Hermansen. I mean, I hope he gets his contact absolutely right, and Arsenal don't win the first contact and decide just to try and lollop it back over his head, because he is very high. Here he is, clipping the ball forward, down towards the left-hand side. Flicked back by Akoli. Nwaneri gets it away, and then it's back down the left channel by Samare. Across comes Timber. There's a load of pushing and shoving going on. It goes out for a throw into Leicester, although I was a little bit surprised that a free kick wasn't given there. You?
It felt as if he just had hold of Urian Timber, Akoli. But it's percentage football at the moment from Leicester. There was a couple of moments early on where they played through and looked to build. Since then, it's started to become that percentage play, which is always difficult at this elite level to get much from.
And they're interested in making it a scrap. They want it to be a bit physical. They want it to be a little bit more attritional, because they don't want Arsenal to get into their flow. And Arsenal, if they're going to avoid that, need to move the ball quicker. 28 minutes gone. And it's up to Arsenal to find a solution, really, because they're the ones that want to hunt down Liverpool. What they don't want to do is, having seen Liverpool drop points in the Merseyside derby, is to drop points here.
Yeah, from Leicester's perspective, they would be more than happy with a point. You don't look, when you're down there, you don't think that you're necessarily going to get points from these type of fixtures. But if you can get one, it's such a bonus.
Partey and Rice escape the clutches of El Khanous and Vardy. They play the ball up to the halfway line. Gabriel then sends it through to Sterling. Sterling tries to release it in behind for Trossard. It doesn't quite come off. It's cleared away by Akoli, but the offside flag was up anyway. And there's a couple of times now that Leicester have played offside, got the flag, and it's just, again, punctuated the rhythm of the play.
Well, I'm sure they would have worked on it, and there isn't the pace, is there? There isn't that genuine fear or threat in behind. They probably don't feel as if Trossard's going to outrun Akoli and out fast, so they can be more aggressive with that defensive line.
Do you know what else I found that's interesting so far, as the ball just kicked upfield again straight towards the goalkeeper Raya, is that I don't think that Arsenal have had a corner kick yet, and we've played nearly half an hour. And I mentioned earlier that the sharpness of those set pieces have been blunted recently. They have been traditionally the best at dead balls this season. They've scored more Premier League goals from set pieces than any other team in the Premier League, but they haven't scored from any of their last 20 corners taken. I wonder if people, one, are getting a little bit wise to their tricks, but two, definitely limiting the number that they're giving away. Ball sent forward down the left-hand side. Obviously, the quality of the delivery is slightly different when Saka is not in the team. But Rice is very good at putting it on the money. Offside flag up again against Raheem Sterling this time.
And I just made sure, as soon as that flag went up from the referee's assistant, just to look at Mikel Arteta. That did annoy him. I think it is starting to annoy him. Just pursed lips and turned to the bench, little raise of the eyebrows, as if to say, any chance, lads, any chance whatsoever at this level of keeping yourself onside, because it's perfect for Leicester. Just stops the attack, can reset and whack it forwards.
Leicester have only taken 9 points here all season. The only other teams that have taken fewer at home this campaign, Ipswich and Southampton. Ball out of play over on the far side. It's about to be thrown in by Miles Lewis-Skelly, who has had a terrific season. It's only his 13th start of the campaign, but I think he's rather enjoyed being in the team recently. Very good on the ball, tactically aware, an England under-19 international, and actually Stuart Pearson, I were going through the number of young international caps that he had picked up, him and Nwaneri, and they've played a lot of football already in their careers at international level through the age groups. Here is Samare, back towards Wout-Fass. He'll find Hermansen, the goalkeeper, who is so adept with his feet. Clips it forward into the chest of Justin, who seems to have recovered from his ailments. He hoiks it forward down the right side. Out comes David Raya, heads it in front of Jamie Vardy, and then travelling down the left to get it away was Gabriel, stopped by El Kudus. It's out for a throw-in over on the far side. You're listening to Talk Sport, live at the King Power Stadium. Leicester City 0, Arsenal 0 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has 450 branches with all the vehicles your business needs.
Arsenal just allowing the game to go into a very, very slow tempo from their perspective. It's got to be moved quicker and get the ball wide as Nwaneri's got it.
Played in by Rice. Nwaneri up towards the edge of the penalty area, tries to skip infield, then plays a lovely ball towards Lewis Skelly, who's on the edge of the box and joining the attack now. He spirals, turns it back to Gabriel, then back to Gabriel again, who sibes it through the middle, looking for Sterling, who loses his footing, stumbles into the box, having tried to control it, and got a whack on his ankle, and then the ball is cleared by Boutfass over on the far side.
Yeah, this surface, when it's properly zipped in as it was there from Gabriel into Raheem Sterling, the touch has got to be perfect. It wasn't. He stumbles and the chance had gone. But I mean, look, you're having to really pierce through that Leicester City defence. It's so deep.
And lots of action coming up on TalkSport over the next 24 hours, including Aston Villa against Ipswich 2:30 this afternoon. And also later on this afternoon on TalkSport 2, after that Aston Villa Ipswich game, Formula E live from Jeddah. Ball out of play on the near touchline. Christensen wants to take a throw for Leicester City, halfway inside Arsenal territory, wide on the left, tossed in by the Dane with his hair sopping wet, straggling down the side of his face. He sends it to Coley with his hair tied back in a bun, and then it's back all the way to the goalkeeper Hermansen, who scoops it upfield, high up into the air, hoping that they're going to win the second ball. Leicester goes back to Coley, then on to Christensen into Ayew, who's being challenged by Timber. He's kept it well, Ayew, and then given it back to Coley. And they've actually protected the ball quite well when they've had it in opposition territory. They've kept hold of it quite well. A couple of times they've been loose in possession, but when they've got numbers up forward, the likes of Ayew, the likes of Decordova-Reid, they are going to keep the ball for you.
Yeah, safe, isn't it? It's safe without having a spark to it. You know, Ayew's not necessarily then going to turn, swivel 1v1 and take on the fullback. He's going to hold it up, use his strength, play it backwards.
Well, 3 of his 5 goals this season have come in stoppage time. He's one that keeps going right to the very end, and he has a unique record against Arsenal. He's scored against them for Marseille, for Swansea and for Palace. How he would love to score against them for Leicester City today. How the Leicester City fans would love to see a goal. They've got nowhere near it in this first 35 minutes. They've given the ball away here. Samare just a little bit loose. It's Sterling running at the defence, right-footed shot from the edge of the area. It took a deflection, and Arsenal are going to have their first corner of the game as it goes bouncing past the left-hand upright. But he never looked completely confident before he took that shot on Raheem Sterling.
No, he didn't. It was a loose pass from Ayew Samare, just a little pull from Trossard, and then Sterling pounced on it, drove at Boutfass, didn't do enough. There wasn't a trick there. There wasn't really a body swerve. It was just shifted it to the right and tried to take the strike on. Came off Boutfass and away for the corner.
So across trots Ethan Nwaneri, who, yes, in the absence of Saka, the delivery level hasn't been as great, but he has been delivering some great balls. And actually, I was with the team in Girona when they played in the Champions League at the end of the league phase, and his deliveries into the box from set pieces were nothing short of terrific and really did cause Girona a few issues. So here it is then, the chance to create something from the first corner of the game for Arsenal. Wide on the right, a left-footed delivery by Nwaneri. They're backloaded at the far post, which means that Gabriel will now try to charge towards the near post. And then he just shimmies, goes in towards the middle of the 6-yard box. Out comes Hermansen, gets there above his head, punches it clear, and it lands on the head of Sterling. And then they chase it to the far side, and it goes out for a throw-in to Arsenal inside Leicester territory. Leicester 0, Arsenal 0. And the latest odds available at Betfair, the official betting partner of TalkSport's Premier League coverage, where right now you can get Leicester to win at 7-1. The draw 11-4, Arsenal 9-4 on. That's all thanks to Betfair, who are paying out winning bets at 90 minutes with 90-minute guarantee. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org. Looking forward to that half-time sausage roll?
Yes, absolutely, always.
Best sausage rolls in the house here, Jason. Oh, football editor says they don't do them anymore.
What?
Oh, outrageous. I thought that was the reason we all came on a Saturday lunchtime, for the nourishment that Leicester provide. No, but the game hasn't really got going yet, has it? We're waiting for a spark, we're waiting for a moment to get us off our seats. I think this is exactly how Leicester would have designed the game.
Yeah, I think so. They would have wanted to frustrate Arsenal and slow the game down and break it up, and they've done well at that. And I talked about it before the game. It's always difficult for a team like Leicester, who kept so much possession in the Championship, and when you see the team today with lots of the same players, pretty much it's just been hitting it forwards, hoping that Vardy gets on the end of something, trying to hold it up. There's barely been 5 or 6 probing passes played by this Leicester midfield and attack.
.38 minutes gone, 0-0. A little bit hush in and around the stadium because there hasn't been much entertainment. There's quite a few little pockets of empty seats around the stadium too. Not sure all of that is to do with half-time refreshment. Although, as I've just been told, they've changed the suppliers here, which is why that the sausage rolls aren't as good as they were, apparently. Sterling, a yard in from the touchline, plays the ball back to halfway. It's kicked off by Miles Lewis-Skelly into the centre circle. Then Saliba into the path of Partey. Wide on the left is Gabriel. Then Saliba inside the centre circle again. Again, Arsenal just being methodical with it rather than coming up with any wit or invention, just keeping the ball inside Leicester territory now, just maybe a couple of yards inside it before going back to Saliba. Out wide to the right it goes now for Nwaneri. Nwaneri tries to take on Jordan Ayew, skips back in left-footed. Then a little bit of space for Odegaard here. Went to get the shot away. Bilal El Khanous with one of those slide tackles manages to intervene.
I mean, Nwaneri's looked the best player. He's so sharp when he's had it.
Here he is again, trying to trick Christensen so he can get a little bit of space to get across in. He chops back, gives it to Partey when he realises that route has been shut off to him. Cross goes Saliba, centre field. Arsenal now moving into a deeper position inside the Leicester half. They send it left onto Raheem Sterling. Sterling travels up to the edge of the penalty area, left angle, gives it back to Gabriel, gets it back from Gabriel, then Partey. Partey wanders forward, being marshalled by Jamie Vardy. Lewis-Skelly tries to bound into the box. He's sort of trying to bundle his way past a couple of challenges, but still Arsenal keep the ball high up in Leicester territory. Here is Partey now. He's coming in field, giving it to Odegaard. Odegaard scoops it over the top. Now Trossard will pull the trigger, and he's completely miskicked it. It came over his shoulder. He went to hit it right-footed. He didn't get his technique right, and it bobbled up under his foot, and he completely misfired.
I mean, for the second time, when Odegaard has been in that 10 role, just in between midfield and defence, he's found a lovely little scoop pass again to Trossard. And you're right, his feet were never planted in the right position. He just had a wild swing of the right foot towards it and got nowhere near it.
Here is Odegaard again, left side of the penalty area, trying to exchange passes with Sterling, but there's so many blue shirts swarming and stopping the Arsenal players from finding the pass that they need to open up this back line, and they've pressed quite well inside their own half. They've closed down well in their own half, and they've just charged Arsenal, forced them back into their own territory now, and they're having to build from deep again. 5 minutes before half-time. It's Leicester City 0, Arsenal 0 in the Premier League, live from TalkSport with Sam Matterface and Dean Ashton, the former England striker, who's alongside us in the stadium here today. And Sam Barrett, the referee, gives a free kick against a rather too eager Raheem Sterling, who's just committed a foul on Decordova-Reid, a yard in from the far touchline.
I think, look, it's down to the Arsenal players to problem solve, isn't it? Leicester are going to sit there in their 2 banks of 4 and 2 forward players deep in front of Arsenal to attack against, and I see it all over the Premier League. You know, teams are so overcoached now that when a team is deep, you can shoot from distance. There should be just a ball in, shift, and you should be able to shoot with quality from just outside the area because of how deep teams are. But teams like Arsenal are so reluctant to take on a strike from distance because they have the extra pass, in the intricacies of switching the play and going in and back out and round. And I just think so often there's the space there for players like Odegaard to get out of their feet and score.
Right, there's 2 balls on the pitch here. Trossard has to kick it out. Justin's gone down. He's going to need treatment, so we need the physio on. So we're going to stop here. The Premier League All Access podcast that we did on Monday, by the way, which is available on the TalkSport app or wherever you get your podcasts, Premier League All Access, we just had a discussion with Terry Gibson, actually, about the evolution of tactics, because there has been a massive evolution, I think, in this last year, where the idea of everybody playing the same way, this need to play out from the back and positionalism, has been sort of disrupted by Andoni Iraola down at Bournemouth, Newcastle to some extent with Eddie Howe, also with Nottingham Forest this season, that there is some variation in play. And actually, you know, the idea of a dogmatic approach needs to sort of be changed, really, if you're going to have any success, because versatility is now really important in your tactics, because people aren't playing into your hands like maybe they were a year ago. You know, if Arsenal try and play a certain style of progressive football and Leicester do it too, there's only one winner. So Leicester have got to be disruptors. They've got to try something different, because that's the only way that they, well, percentage-wise, they're going to get more of a chance of beating them.
Yeah, and look, they'll look at other successes where you can defend resolutely and still get results if you can be bright on the attack and gamble at the right times. But again, I look at the top sides, and in simple terms, you don't have to do a lot now to win goal of the month. You know, you don't. You know, a team goal or a wonderful touch here and there can be a goal of the month, whereas there used to be crackers from outside of the box all of the time, it felt, in the Premier League.
Northampton 2-0 behind to Wrexham coming up to half-time, and Grimsby have taken the lead against Doncaster. The match between Oxford and Portsmouth in the Championship has been suspended. There was a break in play there because of an emergency in the crowd. That person who was receiving medical treatment is breathing and is receiving medical care and is going to hospital now. But the play was stopped there for quite some time and is only going to resume at 1:15. So that match heavily disrupted down at the Kazan Stadium. Again, we just get underway. There's a bit of a confrontation on this near side where Leicester believe that they should have had a throw-in on this near touchline, but it's gone the way of Arsenal. We've just got underway again after a substitution. Justin actually in the end couldn't continue, and Wo Koulibaly, who is the only signing in the January transfer window, has come on at right back.
Yeah, he has. Justin just can't continue. Interesting that Ruud van Nistelrooy there. It was a Leicester throw-in. The referee's assistant has put his flag up for it to be a Leicester throw-in, and then has changed his arm and put the other one up, and Ruud van Nistelrooy was right next to him, almost put it down.
Ruud van Nistelrooy almost did a Martin Keown to Ruud van Nistelrooy from 2003.
Yes.
Maybe it wasn't as energetic as that. Not much is. 30 seconds before we reached the end of the first 45 minutes. And it's still 0-0. And here is Declan Rice progressing down the left side and moving infield. He releases Miles Lewis-Skelly, then onto Urian Timber, out wide to the right, and Nwaneri, who goes on the outside of Christensen, gets to the byline, produces a cross into the near post, headed behind by Wout Faes, who tracked it all the way and puts it out for a corner at the end of the first 45 minutes, of which there will be 4 added minutes.
He's the difference at the moment. He's the one. Ethan Nwaneri, just a couple of dabs with the left foot and then just a change of direction, and he was away. He is pretty rapid over the first 5 or 10 yards, gets away from Christensen, tries to play it in, and Wout Faes does really well to come to the near post and make sure he's in front of that cross.
Here is the corner then that Nwaneri will take. Left-footed, again, probably out searching for Gabriel. Ball comes in left-footed, and it's a deeper one this time, and Gabriel is underneath it. He heads it back towards goal. He's got such good power with his headers. The neck muscles stretched there, but it's into the arms of Hermansen after the initial clearance came back. There was a bit of a push on the edge of the penalty area, which saw Bilal El Khanous drop to the floor, and then Arsenal retreat into shape, and Hermansen just keeps hold of the ball for as long as he can. He looks up at the big clock behind him. The 8-second rule clearly not in force, because he's held on to it for about 20 seconds, and now he clears upfield. There's a really glum look on the face of Mikel Arteta right now. He doesn't look at all happy, and I can understand that, because, you know, they've hardly troubled Leicester. There's so many. He's a little bit of a throwback in the fact that the ball is going from one end to the other very, very quickly, and the goalkeepers have had a lot of touches in the game so far. Here is Sterling trying to speed down the left. Has he taken it out of play? I think he has. One shot on goal each.
Yeah, I mean, it's not enough, is it? But Leicester, they'll be happy. They just need to keep the concentration. They don't want to certainly concede so late in the half. Well, I think they've put together a decent half of defensive football, offered very little going forwards after the first 10 minutes. Not giving Jamie Vardy anything really to try and chase after. And Arsenal have just been so slow and uninventive in their play. Talked about Declan Rice and the threat he could be. That's stopped after the first 10 minutes. He's not making those runs anymore. And they're almost looking at a 17-year-old to be the spark.
Well, the Arsenal fans over on the far side look almost as glum as Mikel Arteta. Here is Decordova-Reid down the right-hand side into the box. Samari, they've got a man over at the back post. Can they find him? Samari into the area, takes a deflection, comes back to Decordova-Reid. El Khanous now just steers the cross towards Vardy, but it's too heavy. It goes over his head and runs outside the penalty area on the left-hand side. Leicester on the attack here. Christensen right at the end of the first half into Vardy. Vardy now into the penalty area and Bilal El Khanous. El Khanous trying to shape to get a shot, which is blocked by Rice. It ricochets off Trossard, and the first bit of defending that Arsenal have had to do in a while ends with the ball being cleared to halfway.
Oh, it's a real opportunity, isn't it? Samari's just got to get his head up. Makes a really good run down the right-hand side, underlapping.
Same towards Ayew, might just take this down inside the inside left channel. He's done that brilliantly, and then on to Christensen. Christensen tries to take on Saliba, back to Ayew again. Ayew on the angle of the penalty area now finds El Khanous, and his ball just wasn't the right one, and it's cleared away by Partey. But Leicester finishing the first half stronger than Arsenal now, with Christensen into the box, a deep delivery, it's Ndidi with a header, it's a free one, it's narrowly wide of the left-hand upright. What a chance for Leicester to take the lead right at the end of the first half. A swirling cross from Christensen, wide on the left, into Ndidi, who was completely free inside the box, and he headed that narrowly wide of the left-hand upright.
Yeah, it's a great cross, isn't it, from Christensen, right into the middle and the heart of the Arsenal defence, and there was a gap there that Wilfred Ndidi just stepped in towards. And I always think when you see a player really thrash their neck at it, how can you genuinely control a header when you do that technique? He's just got to come on and meet that and glance it into the floor and skip it off the surface. He's tried to thrash at it.
Well, Ruud van Nistelrooy once scored a penalty in Manchester United's 2-0 win at Old Trafford in October 2004 that ended Arsenal's 49-match unbeaten run. That was the Invincibles coming to an end. If this result stays as it is, I think many people will believe that he has orchestrated the end of Arsenal's charge towards the title and any attempt they've got of chasing down Liverpool. Leicester very much still in this game at half-time, and Arsenal are failing at this moment to take advantage of Liverpool dropping points in midweek. Long way to go, but at half-time it is very 0-0.
It really is, Sam Matface, thank you. It really is very 0-0. It's one of those games that pretty much just burst into life right towards the end, Dean Ashton, but not in the way that many people would have expected. Leicester City, a few warning signs there for Arsenal, do you think?
On the break, I think Leicester have offered a couple of really good moments. You think of Ndidi's chances that he's had, the volley that he didn't quite catch well enough, and then that's a free header who he's got to do much better at this level when you're not challenged to head that down. I just think that they've played the way you would expect a team that's fighting relegation against the top side. They've sat deep, they've been organised, they're frustrated, and then they've offered a couple of moments on the break. At the moment, it's really difficult, certainly for Leicester fans, to expect much more against a team like Arsenal. So a decent half, really, for Leicester.
Absolutely, a decent half to go into half-time goalless. But from an Arsenal perspective, I mean, there are a couple of opportunities for Raheem Sterling. He really needs his confidence back, and it's one area, someone at the other end of the scale in terms of experience, who looks much more likely to actually sort of draw first blood.
Yeah, he looks terrific. He looks like he's playing with a bit of freedom, whereas Sterling doesn't. And it's difficult when you have that experience and and he's had some criticism as well. But somehow he's got to find his way out of that.
Yeah.
And he's got to keep making those runs and
those
keep getting into...
Those shackles are heavy, aren't they?
Yeah, but he's just got to keep making those runs, keep trying to get into the positions, which I feel like he is trying to do. The end product isn't there at the moment. A lot of it is running off the ball from the Arsenal players. I want to see Rice bursting into the box more, not once or twice in a half. I'm talking 5, 6, 7 times. When they're so deep, you should have that freedom to get into the box. Martin Odegaard be in the 10 position more rather than drifting wider where Timber stood anyway and can do that role. Trossard's had a hard half because it's so congested in there, and he's got to try and take the attention of the 2 centre-backs. But there's got to be better running off the ball from Arsenal. Too often you look and it's that semicircle of players that want a nice touch on the ball, but that's easy to defend against.
It's almost like they have this holiday hangover, although it wasn't quite a holiday. They don't look at it.
He didn't look happy, Arteta. There'll be words exchanged, I'm sure, at half-time. He'll want more. He's got some good options, actually, off his substitutes bench in terms of the likes of Ben White, who I think could offer more than Timber for sure at right back. Calafiori and Marino in particular as well. So if he doesn't make a change at half-time, it won't be long if it stays like that he'll make changes.
Yeah. Indeed, as you say, I'm sure Mikel Arteta's having a few words, and Ruud van Nistelrooy as well, but he'll certainly be happy with as much as he can with the performance of his team, because it is goalless at half-time here at the King Power Stadium. Leicester 0, Arsenal 0, second half after this.
Game day exclusive on Talk Sport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes, so if you've got a plan, we've got a van.
At Betfair, we believe that to play different, you need the right tools. The boots, the world-class tactics, the science-backed nutrition. The pros have their tools, and with Betfair, so do you. Our safer gambling tools work just like the right pair of boots, designed to keep you on top of your game. Open the Betfair app to equip yourself so you can bet at your best. Betfair. Play different.
18 plus, begambleaware.org.
With up to 30% off selected bedroom storage at IKEA. Lee bought a bedside table to store all the bits for their new knitting rack. So when it's more knot than knitwear, they can put it all in one place. Visit IKEA for all your bedroom storage needs. IKEA, the wonderful everyday. Available online and in store for IKEA family members only from 14th of February to 2nd of March. Subject to availability.
The season is shaping up, and whether they're going for glory or going down, it's all to play for. Get the ultimate football coverage with the Sun's free pull-out goals. With the best writers pitchside for in-depth match reports, it's all about goals. And with unrivaled news from the Premier League to League Two, it has to be goals. Stay up to date on all the latest football action. Get your free copy of Goals every Saturday, Sunday and Monday, only in the Sun.
You don't just check in to a village hotel. You work out. You jump in. You play on. You tuck in. And drink up. Village Hotels. 33 locations with everything under one roof. A huge gym with pool and great membership opportunities. And a buzzing pub and grill with delicious food, ice-cold beers and live sport. Check out villagehotels.com and work out, stay, meet and play.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Watching the big game cozied up in the snug. Balmy summer nights with the kids playing on the lawn.
We're playing real-life football!
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of April 2024 and 30th of June 2024 was under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
At Screwfix, we've locked in the prices of a wide range of everyday van essentials. Like the 50-litre 30-pack heavy-duty rubble sacks at £7.99, WD-40 at £6.98 and 380ml no-nonsense decorator's cork at £2.50. We've got your back with prices you can rely on the products you use the most. In stock and ready to go, saving you the hassle of shopping around. Order on the app and collect in-store today. Prices valid until at least 6th of April. Visit screwfix.com for T's and C's. Delivery charges and restrictions apply.
The new £5 meal deal from McDonald's. Get a cheeseburger or mayo chicken, medium fries, 4 McNuggets, and a medium soft drink for guess what? That's right, £5. It's not called the £5 meal deal for nothing. From 11 a.m. Not available on delivery. Carbonated soft drink upgrade fees apply. Participating restaurants subject to availability.
Game day exclusive on TalkSport with Sky Sports. Stream the biggest Premier League games available with no contract on now. Like Crystal Palace versus Everton live today. Search Now Sports. 18 plus. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
100% total football each and every weekend.
Oh, he's found the net!
Game day.
Brilliant strike!
Live football coverage that's beyond compare.
Game day exclusive on TalkSport.
Hello, Les. Yes, you're listening to Game Day Exclusive. I'm Reshmin Chowdhury. I'm alongside Sam Matterface and Dean Ashton today at the King Power Stadium. It's half-time in all the 12:30 kickoffs this Saturday lunchtime here at the King Power. It's Leicester City 0, Arsenal 0. Over on TalkSport 2 in the Championship, it's Preston 0, Burnley 0. Elsewhere, Oxford United 0, Portsmouth 0, Cardiff City 0, Bristol City 0. Here's a couple of goals for you. In League One, it's Northampton 0, Wrexham 2, and goalless between Cambridge and Exeter City as well. In League Two, also goalless between Wimbledon and Salford. And in the Doncaster-Grimsby game, Grimsby are the visitors, and they're leading by a goal to 0. We'll keep you up to date with all of those scores across the day here on TalkSport, as always. Right, so turning our attention back to the game here, our 12:30 kickoff on TalkSport, live and exclusive, King Power Stadium, Leicester City against Arsenal. Let's get the latest from Betfair, shall we? The official betting partner of TalkSport's Premier League coverage.
Odds update on TalkSport with Betfair. Get a completely free ACCA or bet builder on football this weekend. Opt-in and previous deposit required. Max free bet varies from £1 to £10 per customer. Minimum odds and T's and C's apply. 18 plus. Gambleaware.org.
Sam Rossbottom from Betfair joins us now. Sam, how's it looking for the on the market, considering that was a pretty dab goalless latest going into half-time?
Yeah, it was. You said it, Reshmin. I mean, looking at the match odds, not a great deal of change, to be completely honest with you. Arsenal still odds-on favourites to win this game, currently 8-13. Leicester, the outsiders, at 7-1, although they have had a couple of half chances, haven't they, really? The draw currently 2-1. I mean, look, if Arsenal are going to chase down Liverpool in the title race, then these are the games that they need to win. We have odds boosted them to win 1-0, 2-0 or 3-0. That's now 11-10. Looking at some of the players, Trossard, with Arsenal's only shot on target, he's playing through the middle, isn't he? He's 5-2 to score in the second half. And for Leicester, while Wilfred Ndidi might be a defensive midfielder, he has threatened at times, hasn't he, for Leicester? For him to score and the Foxes to win, 52-1 when you combine both in a bet builder. That surely would put a pin in Arsenal's title hopes. But hopefully a much more entertaining second half to come.
Yeah, we really hope so. We need something, don't we? And what about Sam's charity bet? I don't believe any of them have fallen yet, have they?
No, nothing at the minute. We've got a bet builder on Jamie Vardy to be carded. We're yet to see a card in the match. Gabriel to score and both teams to score no. So that one's not looking too bad at the minute. But we do need
such high hopes
we do
for that
need
one.
a Gabriel. Yeah, I mean we do need Gabriel to score and Vardy to be carded. All combined, that bet builder's coming out just a bit bigger than 98-1 when we put it on before the game. So our £50 charity stake, if all three land for us in the second half, £4,960. But so far we're still in it, and I've got my fingers crossed still for the second half.
We've got 45 minutes, anything could happen. Sam Rossbottom, as always, thank you very much indeed. That odds update is all thanks to Betfair. Returns accurate as of 10 minutes ago. For verification, see betfair.com. Over 18s only, conditions apply. But please do go to begambleaware.org.
Odds update on TalkSport with Betfair. Get a completely free ACCA or bet builder on football this weekend. Opt-in and previous deposit required. Max free bet varies from £1 to £10 per customer. Minimum odds and T's and C's apply. 18 plus. Gambleaware.org.
Right, following us at 2:30, Adrian Durham will be taking you around the grounds with all the goals as they go in the Premier League and EFL. He's at the Etihad for Manchester City against Newcastle United. Adrian, I hope it's a bit more exciting than our game here. I'm having a cup of tea to just wake me up a little bit.
Mate, it's Man City Newcastle. It's Haaland against Isak. What do you think? Of course it's going to be exciting. I'm looking at the pitch now. Anthony Gordon's out there. It's going to be fantastic. I am not jealous of you at all.
Honestly, I don't expect anyone to be too jealous of us here. It's been a really sort of strange watch, actually. Arsenal just haven't been able to get going. Leicester City, you know, with a few green shoots, let's say. But as you say, Manchester City against Newcastle United should be energetic, should be incredible. And Manchester
it won't be 0-0, I guarantee you that.
It won't be 0-0. And for Manchester City, it's come at a really sort of unwelcome time, if you like, because it's sandwiched between those two huge European games, and their season is riding on this particular week.
Well, they're out of Europe, right? We're agreed on that. Even at the peak of their powers over the last couple of years, when they went to Madrid, they never won there. They drew there. So you cannot predict with any conviction and confidence Man City will go to Madrid and turn that around. So me personally, I think that they're done. But what a performance if they do get through. But I think this game today, they've got to look at, finishing top 4, top 5. So, and this game is crucial. They're right next to each other in the table. Absolutely crucial for that Champions League finish. Yeah. So that's why 1 defeat in 7 in the Premier League for Man City sounds like good form, but we've seen them, we've witnessed them, and they're not in the form that we know they can be. But it's one of 5 3 o'clock kickoffs in the Premier League, so a big day today, and as you say, we'll be round the grounds with all the goals as they go in, and it's pretty chilly here at the Etihad, so they'll have to warm us up.
Yeah, exactly, and as you say, big programme of games. We've got a live game as well on TalkSport 2, haven't we? Aston Villa against Ipswich. What are you expecting for that one? Because Aston Villa, of course, really need to get back into those European spots, and for Ipswich, my goodness, it's just a matter of confidence, isn't it? Just getting confident.
But the thing with Ipswich, they've got themselves, they've had some draws, which has given them a chance of staying up, so they're not far off it, they're not cut adrift. They made some signings who, if they come good between sort of now and the start of April, they could pick up enough points to make a fight of it down at the bottom and put Wolves in trouble. Villa, no win in 3 in the Premier League, so these two are kind of looking to start a run of winning form that could elevate them and take them to where they want to be. So I find that a fascinating game. That's live on TalkSport 2. Fulham Forest. Fulham going for the double over Forest. They won at Forest earlier this season, which not many have done this season. West Ham Brentford is East meeting West. Brentford rarely lose at West Ham, and Southampton Bournemouth.
Well, it's also a derby, isn't it? A little local derby.
South Coast derby, They're done and dusted, really, I think, Southampton. But Bournemouth 7th, they're only 2 points off 4th place. So they've got a chance to get in and amongst it as well. And what a season that would be for the Cherries.
It's been an incredible season so far, hasn't it? I only imagine that it will get better. We're looking for things to get better here, Adrian Durham. Like I say, we're all trying to perk ourselves up because at the moment there's not that much going on. Adrian, great to talk to you as always. Have a great one. I'm sure, as you say, Manchester City against Arsenal will be fantastic. And of course, that Aston Villa against Ipswich is live on TalkSport 2 at 3 p.m. as well. Here, Arsenal are the team that are out first. Mikel Arteta has already taken his place in the dugout. The team are in a huddle and they're just shaking their legs out, getting ready for the second half. You can hear a little bit of a cheer and applause there, I think, and the music volume has just gone up a little bit. That's because Leicester City have just walked out onto the pitch. So plenty still going on. Actually, the groundsman is still out, still picking at the grass as well, trying to get that ready. It's a few moments away from the second half, but plenty still to play for. Two sides with two very different objectives, very different priorities, but both of them really badly need those 3 points. The second half is about to kick off imminently, and I'm going to hand you back to our commentators, Dean Ashton, but first Sam Matterface.
I'm just having a look around to see if there's any changes at half-time. I don't think there is, and that means we're going to go again with the same 11s that tried to thrash it out in that first half. I say thrash it out, they sort of tried to prod each other in that first 45 minutes, and Arsenal, I think, got a little bit distracted and a little bit frustrated by the prodding that they were having to do, because it was really pretty much an exercise in defending for Leicester City that wasn't as arduous as maybe they were anticipating when they were planning this game going forward. But they've done their job in that first half. Arsenal, who are on a run of 6 successive wins in this fixture, have never won 7 in a row. How do they ensure that they make history this afternoon?
Well, I mean, the tempo's got to be upped hugely from that first half. Oh, what a challenge that was.
El Khanous and Thomas Partey colliding in the middle of the park. And El Khanous is just being looked at. Gabriel has gone over to check on the prognosis of Partey. El Khanous gets a yellow card for the challenge, which took place about 15 yards back from the edge of the D. And he went in, got the ball, but followed through on Partey, swiping his legs past the ball and then catching, I think, with his studs, the top of the shin of Partey, and then following through with the back leg.
Yeah, in particular the back leg that followed through to upend Thomas Partey is what did for the yellow card. No hint of a red card in that challenge, but Arsenal, usually what happens when you're a better side technically than the opposition is speed of play is what does for a side, and Arsenal just haven't had it, not yet.
Well, no changes, as we said, to personnel as Arsenal win a goal kick away to our right hand side. They're attacking the goal to our left in the second half in all blue today. Leicester City attacking the goal away to our right. Hermansen is their goalkeeper. Woyo Koulibaly is the only replacement that we've had. That was for the injured James Justin. He is playing as right back now. Fass, Okoli and Christensen, the rest of the defence. Ndidi and Samara, the deepest lying of the midfield players, with El Khanous trying to get up to support Jamie Vardy in attack, who's also flanked by De Cordova-Reid and Jordan Ayew. Oh, mistake by Partey, who's being upended by Jordan Ayew and gets away with a free kick inside his 18-yard box. I just had the sense then, as that sort of play was developing, they were playing out from the back, that there was going to be some sort of mistake. There was just the tiniest of little touches from Ayew, and the missed kick from Partey as a result.
Well, and also sides are really looking at that straight pass from the goalkeeper into the midfield player to pounce on. And Ayew, in the end, just clipped Partey's heels.
And we'll go through the Arsenal 11 in just a second. They have Trossard as the false 9 today, and he's just dropped deep to win the ball and spiral and then turn it out to the far side, looking for Jurrien Timber. Nwaneri just trying to get beyond the defence, but has to turn it back to the Dutchman. Ødegaard takes over. It comes off Partey, but bounces through to Lewis Skelly, who takes charge, then clips it down the right side, looking for the run of Nwaneri. Almost got there, but Christensen just made sure he didn't, and sees it out of play for a goal kick away to our left. David Raya, the Arsenal goalkeeper. The back four are Jurrien Timber, William Saliba, Gabriel and Miles Lewis Skelly. Ødegaard, Partey and Rice in midfield, with Nwaneri, Trossard and Sterling as the three-pronged attack. I say attack, the three most forward players, because there hasn't been too much of an attacking sense from either team in this game. And we've played 3.5 minutes of the second half. Most of us predicted a half-time lead for Arsenal. That didn't materialise. Here's Rice, though, looking to try and do something about that. Reverses the ball to Sterling. Again, the contact wasn't great. The break was good. They won it in midfield. They sprung forward. Rice led the charge to the edge of the penalty area. As he tried to reverse it, it just sort of bobbled into Sterling.
Yeah, either that pass, oh, it's a lovely pass.
Well, that is a good pass. It's in behind for Vardy to chase. Down the right-hand side, gets into the area, looks to square it. Blocked by Gabriel, comes back to Vardy again, edge of the penalty area. El Khanous into the box, just tried to nudge it into the path of Reid. Cut out by Saliba, and Arsenal bring it clear.
But I thought that was a real chance for Arsenal. We're on the break.
Got another one now. Sterling runs down the left, fed by Ødegaard. Gets to the edge of the penalty area. Koulibaly's backing off, and then he times his intervention brilliantly, and Sterling just looks devoid of all confidence. Didn't have the confidence at all to take him on. Was nabbed by Koulibaly, and now Khanous runs away at the other side. El Khanous goes past Miles Skelly. The tackle comes in. He thinks he's been fouled. The throw-in has been given out on this near side to Leicester City. Ruben Nistelrooy is furious with the fourth official.
Well, because he feels as if Lewis Skelly has followed through on the shins of El Khanous. A little bit similar to El Khanous' on Thomas Partey. But you're right, Sterling just hasn't got the confidence. It's amazing how it affects even someone with his experience and trophies that he's won, things that he's done in the game. You know, he does just look as if it's weighing him down. It actually looks like he's visibly slower than he normally is because of that lack of confidence. But it was a real chance for Arsenal, by the way, when it was played through to Declan Rice, and I'm thinking, go on, take that on yourself and strike it with your right foot, and he didn't. His only thought was, I need to pass this towards Sterling, and it was a poor pass in the end. Actually, go and drive forward and trust that and he has got the technical ability. Trust that you can put something decent on goal.
0-0. 51 on the clock. Vardy gets hold of the ball and wants a free kick because he was tugged by Saliba, wins that free kick just in front of the centre circle, and it's a Leicester City ball, and they're inching towards a famous point here. There's still a very long way to go, and actually Leicester's fans have had to put up with a bit of a dry spell in recent weeks. They haven't scored since the 8th of December in the Premier League. They haven't had a dry spell like that since the year Aberdeen won the Cup Winners' Cup, Dundee United won the Scottish title, Manchester United won the FA Cup against Brighton, and the £1 coin was introduced. Do you know what year it was? I'll give you a clue. I remember it.
79?
Right. No. Cheeky. 82, we've had a guess of 82. No, incorrect. 1983. How old were you in 1983?
0.
Were you born in 83, were you?
Yes.
There you go. .52 on the clock. It's Leicester 0, Arsenal 0. Ball sent wide over towards the left-hand side, and Arsenal's Raheem Sterling. Leicester would love to break their duck today and score a goal, but they'd also love to keep a clean sheet. They haven't kept too many of those over the course of the season either. Miles Lewis-Skelly throws the ball in, down by the corner flag. Back into Lewis-Skelly once more, then on to Ødegaard, round the corner for Sterling, and Ndidi times his tackle well enough to get the ball out of play ahead of Sterling. There was a little collision between those two a couple of minutes ago where the ball didn't reach Sterling, and Ndidi just sort of got hold of a little bit of the former England man, but nothing more than that. The referee waved away any protests for any sort of VAR check as well. No penalty was given. What about this corner? What can they produce from this, Arsenal? Declan Rice places it down just on the edge of the quadrant. Gabriel on the penalty spot being marshalled by Christensen. Miles Lewis-Skelly is in there too. It's aimed towards Gabriel. Christensen comes across him, pushes the ball out with his head, and Gabriel knows that actually if he'd just managed to get the better of Christensen there, that would have been a good opportunity to get a header in, but Christensen did his job.
But also because of that movement of everybody else, either at the back post that then drifts towards the goalkeeper, they're trying to isolate then Gabriel against a Christensen, but actually teams are wising up, and therefore as the ball's played are bringing a second player across to block Gabriel, which is what Decordova-Reid did there.
Yeah, Decordova-Reid did really well there to stop his advance towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Here is the Nwaneri corner in towards the near post, away by Jamie Vardy. El Khanousi is chasing it. Nwaneri is too, but El Khanousi is going to get there first. He drags Leicester forward, plays it against Nwaneri, wins the throwing over on the far side. Leicester have taken 7 points from a possible 33 in Ruud van Nistelrooy's 11 games in charge. That isn't a great record, even with the mitigating factors. But if they were to get something from this game, that would do a lot to enhance his reputation and feeling amongst the Leicester support. 54 gone. Ball drops in midfield. Samare, Ndidi, Ødegaard putting pressure. It's very up and at them, and then Gabriel takes charge, but Rice had already committed a foul, and the free kick given 6 yards before the halfway line. I went to a game on Wednesday night, the Merseyside derby at Goodison Park, and that was called by David Moyes a bit of a throwback. This has got a similar sort of vibe.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, look, Leicester again aren't particularly looking to play. They're looking to float that ball up, looking for headed challenges, try and pick things up in midfield with their physicality of Samare and Ndidi. And Arsenal, again, yet to really find any flow, really, to their play.
No, here is Jurrien Timber defending. The ball's going to drop for Bout fast. He's going to crack one from distance, but there was a foul already by Akoli, which had been whistled by the referee. And Timber down, having, I think, been cracked on the head there. He doesn't look particularly comfortable. He's rolling around inside the 18-yard box, and it's going to be a free kick to the Gunners. Ruud van Nistelrooy just stalking the technical area, getting a little bit more agitated. But Mikel Arteta has not been as demonstrative or athletic as he sometimes is. He looks a little bit downbeat to me, although we were quite stridently told earlier that even with the Havertz injury that had been suffered on the Dubai trip, they'd come back into the country in buoyant mood.
Yeah, maybe he's chill about it. Maybe he knows he's got substitutes that he can use. He knows they've got to be patient. But if you're Leicester, you've got to try and sense how the game is going. Can you get yourself a goal? Can you be a bit braver with Arsenal's blunted attack? Because it feels like it's there for them if they can, and then Arsenal would really have to try and answer.
Bristol City have taken the lead away from home, and it's a goal after the hour mark from Jason Knight that has put them in front away at Cardiff City in the Championship. Elsewhere in that division, it's still 0-0 between Oxford and Portsmouth, with the game delayed because of a medical emergency by at least 15 minutes. Preston 0, Burnley 0 is live over on TalkSport 2. We'll be round the grounds with Adrian Durham in the aftermath of this game. But let's get team news from the game involving Fulham. Is Dave Rowe.
Yeah, Fulham against Forest here at Craven Cottage. Both sides unchanged from their last league lineups. A couple of interesting names, though, on the benches. Willian is there for Fulham after rejoining the club. And for Forest, Murillo is fit to start. And Hudson-Odoi has missed the last 3 games. He is on the Forest bench.
Bournemouth big favourites to win today down at St Mary's. We'll get there in just a second, but here is Nwaneri skating into the box, looking for space to get the shot away, runs into the D, plays it wide onto the left towards Sterling. Sterling now trying to feed the ball back towards Miles Lewis-Skelly, who gets to the edge of the area, tries to send it down the left channel. Rice was almost there, but it was good defending there by Colin, and a lovely bit of skill by El Khanous to run out towards this near side. He takes it out of play and it goes out for a throw-in down in front of Mikel Arteta. Alex Cook's got details of team news then at Southampton versus Bournemouth.
A trio of changes for the home side from the team that won at Ipswich a fortnight ago. Wood replaces the injured Harwood Bellis. Smallbone and Sulemana also come in. Out go Ugachukwu and Grombeck. Bournemouth unchanged from their last Premier League lineup.
Sterling played over the top and into space down the left-hand side for Arsenal. Into the box he goes. He chops back on his right foot, sets it for Partey, who leaves it for Gabriel. Went to strike it, then didn't. Then Ødegaard takes over. He tries to shoot for a crowd of players. It hits the back of Ndidi and spirals out towards this near side. Miles Lewis-Skelly takes over. Left wing position into Ødegaard. Down the left for Sterling, who's putting pressure on Ndidi, who's out-muscled, commits a touch on the ball that puts it out for a corner. And Arsenal will have another opportunity.
He's been important, Ndidi. I know he's had his chances going forwards, but defensively he's slotted in brilliantly when there's been a gap. A couple of times now he's come across and stopped Raheem Sterling.
Corner kick to be taken on the near side by Declan Rice, who will place it down and look to try and elevate the ball to the back post. Now what can they do here? Can Gabriel get free? He's tussling with Christensen again, gets into the penalty area, goes in towards the near post, and it's flicked over the top by Akoli, who got there before everybody else. He feels he was pushed as he connected with that, and it goes out and away for another corner.
Difficult for the referee to see so many bodies in the 6-yard box as that ball was whipped in. Akoli felt he was pushed by Lewis-Skelly. He could have glanced that into his own net.
Coming up to the hour mark, it's 0-0, Leicester against Arsenal in the Premier League, live on TalkSport. Here's the corner, which will be taken by Rice. It's not a great delivery, it's a flat one in towards the near post. Again, it looks as if there was a foul there on both Cordova-Reid and Akoli. Sam Barrett, the referee, decides that this time he is going to blow the whistle.
Yeah, because Jamie Vardy made sure that he noticed a big shove in his back by Trossard into Jamie Vardy, who then just runs past Trossard laughing.
Jamie Vardy with a little cheeky smile. Hasn't had too much action with the ball so far today, but he has done enough to irritate one or two of the Arsenal supporters over on the far side. You're listening to Leicester City 0, Arsenal 0 on TalkSport with Sky Sports. Don't forget you can stream the biggest Premier League games available with no contract on now, like Crystal Palace versus Everton, live today. Search Now Sports. Ball sent forward by Mads Hermansen, up into the right wing position, down by Ndidi, and then Bilal El Khanous was stretching, didn't reach it, and Partey then sent the ball away for Ødegaard, who in turn has found Nwaneri, who shoots left-footed from the edge of the D and misses the goal by only a couple of inches. Arsenal's best moment really came in a quick turnover in which they sent the ball forward at rapid speed, and Nwaneri, who has been the most dangerous of their lot, was picking it up, taking it into a central area, and his right-footed shot wasn't far away.
No, it wasn't. Really clever play from Martin Odegaard. He was offside, and as soon as Arsenal won that back, he just got himself onside, but free, able to turn, able to play it in towards Nwaneri. He's so close. It almost, I think it does just
the bar, yeah.
Clip the very corner tip between post and bar. It's a terrific effort.
Well, what an opportunity that was, and Nwaneri coming closest for Arsenal. Here is Trossard with an effort. He gets brought to the floor by Ndidi. The referee says no foul again. Let's go off towards the left-hand side, and it's picked up by Ayew. Ayew now moves in towards an advanced position. Vardy gets it back, gives it to El Khanous, which not necessarily looked like the right move, but anyway, they spread the play out towards the right-hand side, and Koulibaly using the ball nicely, gets it infield, comes off Rice, bounces kindly for El Khanous inside the penalty area. It's put behind by Rice. Let's go off to our 3 o'clock commentary on TalkSport 2. Ipswich the visitors to Villa Park. Joe Shannon.
2 changes for Villa from the FA Cup win over Spurs. A debut for Disasi. Watkins fit to start. Concert and Bailey drop out. Rashford is on the bench. 3 survivors from FA Cup weekend for Ipswich. Townsend, Phillips and Palmer, who makes his Premier League debut. Davis and Morsey not in the squad.
Here is the corner then to be taken by Leicester City. That game involving Aston Villa and Ipswich is live on TalkSport 2 from 3 o'clock. Make sure you download our app. You can flip between the stations. Christensen to take the corner for Leicester. Left-footed. It's a high one to the far post. Okoli trying to get hold of it. Partey was surrounding him. And the ball goes out of the penalty area towards the corner flag on the other side. And then Ayew looks to send it back in again. He does to the far post. It bounces around inside the box. It's headed away by Saliba, and then Koulibaly gets it back to his goalkeeper. Tomorrow Alfie Reynolds will be at Tottenham Manchester United. Today he's at West Ham. What's the team news?
West Ham make 3 changes. Paqueta and Alvarez return from injury. Mavropanos is also back in. Out go Cresswell, Soufal and Irving. James Ward-Prowse and Evan Ferguson are on the Hammers bench. As for Brentford, 1 change. Flecken returns in goal.
Christensen into the box, sends a cross in towards the near post for Leicester, and out comes David Raya, grabs it and tries to immediately spark a counter-attack for Thomas Partey to lead. He goes up to the halfway line. A little bit of joy there for Leicester City. A brief moment of attack for the Foxes, who still on the hunt for their first goal in this stadium in the Premier League since December. That's a poor ball forward by Lewis Skelly. It goes out and away for a throw-in. Over in the left full-back position for Leicester. Arteta trying to raise the level of his team. It's still 0-0 here. What a huge game at the Etihad Stadium this afternoon. Newcastle taking on Manchester City, and Mickey Gray will be there.
Yeah, 6 changes for Manchester City after that game against Real Madrid. Akanji, Diaz, Ake, Silva, Grealish and De Bruyne miss out. Lewis, Kushinov, Gonzalez, Gundogan, Marmoush and Foden come back into the starting 11. Only Guimaraes and Byrne remain for Newcastle after their game against Birmingham at the weekend. It's Manchester City against Birmingham, against Newcastle. Sorry, Sam.
Birmingham and Newcastle was last week. Dean and I were there, and we had a cracking time, didn't we, down at St Andrews? Loved it. And we particularly liked it where the JK, the rapper, came out of this stage. He came from the floor, didn't he? That was good. They turned all the lights off. Here's Odegaard down the right-hand side into the box. Out comes the goalkeeper Hermansen, and then it just took a little bit too much time to get it back to him, and then it came off Hermansen and was kicked at him by an Arsenal jersey. It goes out for a throw-in down by the corner flag. 1-0 to Bristol City in the Championship. 0-0 half-time Oxford-Portsmouth. Preston 0, Burnley 0 as Nwaneri tries to go down the outside of the penalty area and then gets dragged down by, I think it was Samare who did the damage in the end, and it's going to be a free kick over on the far side. AFC Wimbledon 1, Salford 0 in League 2. Grimsby 2-0 up against Doncaster. Wrexham 2-0 up against Northampton. It's still 0-0 Cambridge-Exeter in League 1. Here it's goalless, but it's just upped a little bit in terms of tempo and rhythm, hasn't it?
Definitely. The game's opened up. Arsenal naturally have got to start to press, start to get more bodies forward. Might leave a little bit more gap for Leicester to exploit on the counter-attack. Still no movement though on the substitutes benches currently.
No, lots of warming up going on. Nicolas Chauvert has just come out to have a little discussion about what could happen here. Gabriel and Nwaneri have gone over to Odegaard to have their discussion. Christensen is pointing at Gabriel, saying he's mine, he's mine, he's mine. And now the short hockey corner is about to come in from the far side. So this is 10 yards in from the corner flag, just outside the area. It's about 2 yards off the byline. It's a left-footed delivery by Odegaard towards Declan Rice, away by Koulibaly. Comes back to Sterling, who never looks set. It's then hit first time by Waneri. That's blocked. It comes out towards the near side, and then eventually picked up by Urian Timber, who works the ball back into a midfield area. Gabriel releases Sterling down the left-hand side. Chops onto his right foot, then hesitates, then back again, then drifts. Oh dear. Sends a ball in towards the near post, which is easily cut out by Ayew because it was so tame, and then it's cleared away. And now they're on the hunt, and there's 4 on 2 here in Leicester City's favour, and Vardy is steaming forward with the ball at his feet. He needed to release it a little bit earlier, and then it goes out over on the far side, and Arsenal managed to retrieve possession of the football, and then Ayew dives in with a challenge. He gets a good contact on it. Decordova-Reid from distance, and Raya makes a save. Up high up. And Jamie Vardy apologises for not releasing the ball quicker. Odegaard gets back to his feet. Arsenal about to make a substitution, and Marino about to come on. It's still 0-0. And the game's opening up, and it's end-to-end now as Rice takes over and moves up over the halfway line. He looks up. He looks to try and see where the outlet is. Sterling is on the left. Waneri is on the right. He gives it towards Urian Timber, whose ball forward to Waneri is unconventional, but he takes on Christensen, beats him, low ball into the near post, comes back out towards Rice, cleared away by Samare, and they get it clear. I'll just take you back to an incident just before that, though. Raheem Sterling, the ball comes to him on the edge of the box. Anybody else, I'm thinking at that point, cracks it first time.
Absolutely.
He stops, waits, almost is waiting for the ball to come to him, Dean.
And he passes it to a 17-year-old for him to deal with. Take the strike on.
Here's Odegaard running into the middle of the Leicester half, still travelling, plays it left to Miles Lewis-Skelly, who's got Sterling to his left now. Sterling moves into the penalty area, goes on the left, has it pinched off him by Koulibaly, and he takes it away for Leicester and to relative safety. El Khanous protects it in the corner, and Ndidi sends it forward. Vardy tries to push Saliba out the way. Saliba comes across, and then Decordova-Reid just jumps on his back. There was no attempt there at all to make any sort of challenge. He just thought, oh, you might be walking away with the ball here, so I'm just going to take a piggyback.
Yeah, of course. Raheem Sterling, I think he knew, didn't he, as soon as Marino was stripped and ready to go, that it was going to be his number that was up. Just hasn't been able to force himself into producing the qualities that he's shown, and that's just something that's holding him back, the confidence at the moment.
Mikel Merino's going to go up front. Trossard's going to go wide to the left. Here is Trossard in that left position, played in by Odegaard. Gets to the edge of the penalty area, cutting in, right-footed, headed away by Ayew. Comes back out to Waneri, who's 10 yards short of the penalty area. Then Marino goes wide towards the right, and he, with his left foot, plays it to Partey. Then he jogs into the penalty area, but it's Odegaard who gets there first. He tries to find a way to open up this very deep and compact defence of Leicester. Gabriel side foots the ball to Waneri. Very patient from Arsenal, but no one prepared to take a shot from distance. Now Rice has it from Lewis-Skelly. Lewis-Skelly gets it back. They're going further from goal rather than closer to it. It remains 0-0. Odegaard into Waneri, tries to take it round the corner, keeps hold of it well, but just overran it slightly. And the ball goes behind and away for a goal kick away to our left, and there is a sense of frustration with 20 minutes to go that Arsenal are going to miss a big opportunity here.
Again, though, it's when Odegaard's got his head up, that's when he needs the movement. It's a decent run, actually, from Waneri on the inside of Okoli. It's just the touch. It was too heavy. Okoli just stepped across. There's going to be a different dynamic with Marino up there. When the ball is wide, he will be a genuine threat from crosses into the box.
I mean, Arsenal have 50 points. That's their lowest tally at this stage of the season for 3 years. If they add another here, another 3 here, Liverpool play Villa and then Manchester City away in the next few weeks, then there is a glimmer of hope. You know, that anything can happen. But if you don't win this game, then you are surrendering any advantage, any small advantage, any psychological advantage you might have got from Liverpool dropping points in midweek.
Yeah, and it's not an over-exaggeration to make it sound as dramatic as that, because it is. We're in that part of the season now where you know you're just not going to recover those points if you let them slip.
And it's happened too often. They need to find a way through here. Lewis Skelly, then on to Martin Ødegaard, out to the right-hand side. Jurrien Timber with the cross. Marino arriving! Doesn't get on the end of it because Wout Faes just got in front of him and did enough to put pressure on him so that he couldn't connect with it cleanly.
Terrific ball, wasn't it, from Jurrien Timber on that right-hand side. Just tossed in and just teased the Leicester defence. Marino's inches away. Just can't quite stretch. Wout Faes does well to make sure he's across to put off Marino anyway. A great ball in from Timber from the right-hand side.
Max Rushton from the warm-up will not be happy. Cambridge 0, Exeter 1 is the latest score down at the Abbey. And here it's still 0-0. There's a whiff of cordite in the air. I don't know if someone's letting off fireworks outside. But the ball is out of play. There haven't been many fireworks here this afternoon, that's for sure. I can hear fireworks outside. Can you hear those? Can't see any. Don't shake your head at me.
You've got a better nose than me to smell that already.
Here is Ødegaard trying to take the ball beyond Ndidi. It's cleared away, up to halfway. And Arsenal have possession inside the centre circle. This is Partey under pressure from Ayew. He runs into a bit of Leicester traffic but squeezes the ball to Marino. He then gives it away. Koulibaly tries to take it out of defence. He doesn't look particularly comfortable on the ball and then gives it back towards Ndidi. Then Hermansen, he will clear. Arsenal fans still have a huge amount of belief in Mikel Arteta, and rightly so. He has transformed the club into being relevant again, but they will not be happy if they don't win here. Ødegaard has given it back to Partey, who's given it to Ayew inadvertently, and he's escaping towards the far post. It's gone through the legs of De Cordova-Reid, who was coming in, and maybe Miles Lewis-Skelly just got enough on the ball to take it away from him, because it went through Bobby De Cordova-Reid's legs and out for a corner. But that was an amazing opportunity for Leicester to take the lead. Down the left went Ayew, his cross was perfect, and Lewis Skelly did just enough to take it away from De Cordova-Reid.
Oh, but it's lucky, because he actually stumbles, Lewis Skelly, and gets a tiny touch with his toe that then flicks it through the legs of De Cordova-Reid, who's about to tap in at the back post, but it all came from a mistake from Thomas Partey in midfield.
Here is a chance to get the ball in from Christensen. Christensen into the near post, Wout Faes with their header, comes back to Jamie Vardy, who volleys it, but it goes further away from goal actually. He didn't connect that perfectly, and eventually Arsenal managed to get it clear, but that was a scramble inside the box, 17 to go. What a chance. Arguably, Dean, that's one of the best chances we've had in the entire game, and it's fallen to Leicester City. They've had two great chances. I can't remember too many great Arsenal chances, apart from Nwaneri's effort from distance, which clips the top of the crossbar.
No, they've not created that golden opportunity, have they, Arsenal, in this game? And Leicester have been bright on the break when they've had their moments.
And De Cordova-Reid is trying to get the better of Lewis Skelly. He's holding on to him. De Cordova-Reid has kept hold of the ball. El Khanous has taken it, and then he wanted a free kick on the near side, didn't get it. It goes out for a throw into Arsenal. It's currently Leicester 0, Arsenal 0, and for the latest odds you can head to Betfair, the official betting partner of TalkSport's Premier League coverage, where right now you can get Leicester to win the game at 11 to 1, Arsenal 5 to 4, the draw 6 to 5 on. It's all thanks to Betfair, who are paying out winning bets and 90 minutes with 90-minute guarantee. Terms and conditions apply. 18+ begambleaware.org. Steffi Mavadidi is on, and Jordan Ayew coming off is the substitution for Ruud van Nistelrooy, and 2 for Arsenal. Calafiori on and Jorginho on, and those that will be coming off, well, we shall find out, but I imagine Calafiori, I mean, let's see, does he go up front? Does he go and do what the manager suggested he might? Well, they're taking off... who are they taking off? They're taking off Thomas Partey and bringing on Jorginho. And then they're going to take off... Who's the other one they're going to take off? Is that Lewis Skelly who's going to come off? He's come down the touchline here, Miles Lewis Skelly, so maybe it is going to be him who goes off. It is. It's the kid Lewis Skelly who comes off to be replaced by Calafiori. I'm a bit surprised by that, actually, but...
You wanted him to go up front, didn't you?
I did. After he'd said it on that interview earlier on today, I wanted to see it, you know? Once you've pictured it, you want to see it.
Yeah.
But then again, he did say, didn't he, last year, that he was going to flip-flop between David Raya and Ramsdale, and they were number one. So you can't always believe what comes out of his mouth. Marino into Declan Rice. A bit of space here for them to exploit Arsenal. Good touch by Marino. Then Rice onto Nwaneri. Nwaneri getting into the penalty area. Right footed shot. He's hit the post. He's cracked it across the goalkeeper, who didn't see it coming. He reacted, but by the time he had done, Hermansen, the frame of the goal was still rattling. What an effort from Nwaneri. He's been the best player on the park.
Or does Hermansen get a touch, or does it touch him after it hits the post? It's brilliant from Nwaneri. He's played in early, takes a lovely little touch, and I think Hermansen gets a little touch on this onto the post. I think it's a decent save. It's a brilliant strike. He just steps over the ball with his left foot, drives onto his right, hits it really firm towards that near post. I think the keeper gets a tiny touch and it ricochets back off the post.
What a chance. Ball over on the far side then for a corner for Arsenal. A lot of movement inside the penalty area. It's a lofted one right under the goalkeeper. Okoli takes his chance and then Jorginho tries to take it and it's cleared away and it's out for a goal kick.
Yeah, they've dealt well with the set plays, Leicester. The amount of bodies that are in there. Difficult for the referee, of course, but with so much pushing and shoving, Leicester have managed to win a couple of free kicks from Arsenal corners.
77 on the clock. Fourth official, who today is Oliver Langford, is being spoken to by Mikel Arteta. Ruud van Nistelrooy in conversation with a couple of his coaches, and then just drops back towards the technical area. Arsenal have made 3 substitutions, 2 for Leicester so far, and we've got 13 minutes to go. And Arsenal came into this game on a 14-match Premier League unbeaten run. They haven't gone longer without a top-flight defeat since a 16-match streak 14 years ago, back in the Arsene Wenger era. But this game's still very much in the balance, because Arsenal, although they've controlled a lot of it, it's Leicester who've had arguably the better chances, although you can caveat that with saying that Nwaneri has hit the frame of the goal twice. Here is Trossard down the left-hand side. Across comes Calafiori. Strong challenge on Koulibaly. And the free kick not given, it's out for a throw-in. The referee hasn't given many free kicks, actually, by the way, today. He's let a lot of the physicality go. I quite like it.
He's trying his absolute best to squeeze some life out of this football match. It's been better second half, though. It's been better intensity. And actually, Leicester have given as good as they've got. They've looked a real threat on the break. I just wonder, with Ayew going off and Mavididi, can they get him on the ball? He was terrific last season from that left-hand side.
Some good news coming in from the Kassam Stadium. Some news coming in from the Kassam Stadium. Oxford 0, Portsmouth 1. Andre Dazelle, son of Jason Dazelle, scoring the goal for Pompey. That's only 3 minutes into the second half there. And that changes the complexion of the table again. And boy, they've had a good run recently, Portsmouth. They've got themselves away from danger. This will take them up into 18th position, but put 4 points between them and Stoke, although Stoke have a couple of games in hand. But 7 points between them and Derby have just changed their manager, who are the team in the relegation zone closest to them. Elsewhere in the Championship, Bristol City lead Cardiff, and it's still 0-0 Preston Burnley on TalkSport 2. You're listening to Leicester against Arsenal. It's 0-0 here on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise hopes over 120,000 people every day. It's Bilal El Khanous for Leicester, getting the ball to the edge of the D, plays it left to Mavididi. Mavididi into the penalty area, trying to trick his way past Jurrien Timber, who's too wily for that. Good intervention, and Jorginho will bring it clear. Ødegaard then runs up towards halfway. There's 10 minutes to go. It's 0-0 between Leicester City in the relegation zone and Arsenal, who are hoping to challenge for the title. Ødegaard again, trying to turn, flicks it out towards Calafiori. Is there going to be a late goal here that settles the match at the King Power Stadium? Trossard infield towards Jorginho. Jorginho's cross towards the far post. Marino was lurking. It's only half cleared. Rice keeps hold of it. Back to Jurrien Timber. Down the side of the penalty area to Nwaneri. In towards Marino. Yes, what a header, what a goal. Rising high above the Leicester defence to get on the end of a delicious delivery from Ethan Nwaneri.
Mikel Merino, who's come off the bench. They needed someone to shoulder the goal-scoring burden. They said it might be him. It is him. He's pierced the defence of Leicester that has been so troublesome to break down with just 9.5 minutes to go. It's Leicester 0, Arsenal 1.
Well, you can pass us to death all you want. Football's still very simple. If you get it wide and get a good delivery in, and you've got a big man in there that really wants to get on the end of it and head it in, it's there to be had. And Nwaneri's been excellent all game. When the ball is fed out to him by Timber, he just gets his head up, he spots Marino's little darting run in behind about fast. He just clips it up and says, go and head that in. He gets up nice and early, he sees it early, and then he just guides it gently into the far corner past Hermansen. It's a terrific header from Merino.
It's a great run from him to keep on side and to get there at the right time. He's so good in the air. Anybody who watched the European Championship, remember that goal he scored for Spain against Germany in the 119th minute? Well, it wasn't quite as athletic and as dynamic as that, but certainly the header was always ending up in the back of the net as he launched himself into the air. And Arsenal lead by a goal to 0.
He didn't do anything dramatic with his neck muscles. He just waited for the ball to come across, saw it right onto his forehead, and just a tiny movement of the neck, a tiny glance of the ball down into the corner that he wanted to aim for. And Hermansen couldn't do anything with it.
It's a really good header, and Arsenal will be delighted that they've got on the score sheet here. And now Leicester have got to try and find a way to get back into the game. It's 1-0. Here is Koulibaly for Leicester City. Leicester City leading in terms of chances up until that point. But Arsenal with the telling moment. The goal from Mikel Merino, whose name is being sung all around that Arsenal away end. That's the noise you can hear opposite us, away to the left corner of the ground. Picked up by Decordova-Reid for Leicester, who come forward now. Koulibaly joins the attack, gets into the area, gives it to Soumare. Didn't really know what to do with it, Koulibaly, once he got into that really good position. Comes out to El Khanous, who's on the near touchline, takes on Trossard, beats him. Calafiori comes across, the cross is a good one, and they were queuing up to arrive, but it was just a little bit too high for both Mavididi and Ndidi, who both went towards it. Now taken away by Odegaard, out towards Merino. Merino waiting for reinforcements to back him up as he takes the ball over the halfway line. And then it's given back to Declan Rice, and they'll keep possession here.
Yeah, it was good energy from the Leicester players to get back into position defensively, but that cross just eluded everybody. They all ran past the cross from El Khanous, all in the same area. They've just got to interchange their runs there, the Leicester attack.
Daka about to come on, so is Buonanotte, as Leicester look to try and invigorate their attack as Trossard goes down the left. Calafiori gets into the final third, tries to produce the cross. It's blocked by Wout Faes. There's a clash of the hairstyles there as the ball was cleared up towards the halfway line, but it's Arsenal who win it. Odegaard went to try and nab it, but across came Soumare. He got whacked in the face by Odegaard. They're going to stop the game here with 6 minutes to go. Soumare felt like he got whacked in the face. There's been a goal in League Two. Doncaster have got one back in their match against Grimsby. It's 2-1 to Grimsby with 4 minutes to play. Wimbledon still leads Salford. Exeter 1-0 up against Cambridge. Wrexham 2-0 up away at Northampton. 0-0 Preston Burnley in the Championship on TalkSport 2. Bristol City are 2 minutes away from an away victory at Cardiff. And Oxford 0, Portsmouth 1, delayed because of a medical emergency in the crowd. Decordova-Reid and Ndidi are off. On comes Buonanotte and Patson Daka. Well, they're going for it.
They've got to, haven't they? I thought they didn't quite sense the opportunity early in the second half, Leicester, to get themselves ahead. Now it's really difficult. Arsenal, one of the top sides defensively.
That Miles Lewis-Skelly intervention, by accident or not, is really important now. 1-0 to Arsenal, 5 minutes to go. Mavididi, who was in the Arsenal Academy, looks to escape down the left-hand side. Jorginho goes across. That's a yellow card for Jorginho because he's brought him down. And it's we haven't had too many yellow cards, only the second yellow card of the day.
There's a really strong run though from Mavididi. I mean, look, that is the difference between him and Ayew. He really will run at players, commit players. He's got lovely dribbling ability.
Free kick to be taken. Got to be a good delivery now for Leicester City, with Wout Faes, Patson Daka and Samare alongside a Coley looking to attack this from the back edge of the D. Fill out El Khanous and Christensen standing over it. We've got 4 minutes and 5 seconds left. Christensen's delivery in towards Wout Faes, away by Saliba, drops inside the box, but Gabriel is there, back in by Buonanotte, further cleared by Marino. Buonanotte tries to keep it alive, it hits the face of Samari, but he keeps things moving. He then chips it out towards the far side. Mavididi with a low ball in towards the near post, away by Urian Timber. And it goes out to Christensen again in the left full-back position. He moves forward, advances towards the edge of the penalty area. 1-0 to Arsenal. It took a long time to break down this stubborn Leicester defence, but they did it in the end. Not too much firepower, but maybe the way that Arsenal have to try and chase down Liverpool is the old adage of 1-0 to the Arsenal. Calafiori looks to release Trossard on the left-hand side. Koulibaly comes across. It's a deep ball towards the far post. Marino's there again! And he taps it in from 7 yards out, and Arsenal have a new goal-scoring hero. Off the bench to score twice in a tight game at Leicester, Mikel Merino has kept Arsenal's faint title hopes alive. Arriving late at the far post, a delicious cross from the left, and he tucked it home like a seasoned poacher. It's Leicester 0, Arsenal 2.
It can really work, can't it? Wing play, crossing, and a forward player that really wants to attack and can sense it when it's about to be delivered in. It's a lovely counter-attack from Arsenal. Calafiori driving through the middle, outside of the left foot towards Trossard, and he just fakes a couple of times away from Koulibaly and then puts in a fantastic ball right in behind the Leicester defence with his left foot. And Marino's there waiting, and he just waits for it to get so close to him before it just bounces, and he just half volleys it in so crisply at the back post, so calmly, with the confidence of the first goal, and takes it away from Leicester.
Kieran Tierney about to come on. Arsenal about to post 3 points. They've had to be patient. And the last act of Leandro Trossard is to be replaced by Kieran Tierney for the last few moments. The Leicester fans are starting to leave, but the Arsenal fans are in party mode. Mikel Merino is the chance over on the far corner of the field. There was a lot of chat, wasn't there, this week? People saying, I've seen him play up front for Real Sociedad, he can do it, you know. Well, he didn't start that way today. It was Trossard who played up top, but Merino has come off the bench, and in a very tight game, he has settled it, Dean Ashton.
Two fantastic composed finishes, weren't they? Like a proper centre forward that clubs are paying serious money for at the moment and looking for. Fantastic header, so calm, and then that finish isn't easy, but he just made it look really crisp. Nice little half-volleyed side foot.
That's the kind of finish that, from the angle that he was coming at the ball, I thought that's more favoured for someone who would hit the ball with the right foot rather than the left, the way it was coming in.
But he just made sure that he wrapped himself almost right around the ball so that he was facing the goal and could just get his left foot onto it. I think when it comes really quickly and you don't have time to manoeuvre your body, then you would have to go with your right foot.
It was great though, great finish, and a brilliant moment for him, Mikel Merino. Before today, he'd scored just 2 goals for Arsenal. Well, he's doubled that tally in his cameo off the bench, and those Arsenal fans that were looking glum and a little bit concerned 10 minutes ago are now in party mood. Leicester City 0, Arsenal 2, Talk Sport. Saturday afternoon, we're round the grounds with Adrian Durham at 2:30. We've got live commentary of Aston Villa and Ipswich on Talk Sport 2. And remember, we take your calls with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy from 5:30 this afternoon. Here is Buonanotte trying to get the ball forward. Ball picked up by Rice. Doesn't manage to get on the end of it. and he gets fouled by Buonanotte. 4 minutes of added time at the end of the game, and a free kick. I just wonder whether or not that's quite a bit of damage on the back of his leg there for Rice, who's not comfortable at all. They've stopped the clock here because he got up to walk away. Oof, dear, oh dear, he doesn't look happy at all. He's hoping that he can he can run that off, Declan Rice, but he's stumbling, and he almost sort of got up there a little bit like a baby flamingo getting up for the first time, and then his legs sort of gave way, didn't they?
He's struggling, isn't he? I think it's more just a really painful blow to the ankle for Declan Rice.
Oh, and then there was a collision off the ball between him and Bilal El Khanous, which Rice wasn't happy about, and is now just whispering in the ear of Bilal El Khanous. Throw-in on the near side to be taken by Tierney as we go into the second of 4 added minutes at the end of the second half. It's been hard going for Arsenal, but they're going to get the job done in the end. And they've been without Jesus, Saka, Martinelli, Havertz, Tomiyasu for so long. Their injury list is extensive, but they're going to get over the line here. And it's a bad day for Leicester, because this equals a club record of 5 successive home league defeats set back in 1959 without scoring, as Nwaneri almost profits from a bit of sloppy Leicester defending and shoots towards goal. Here is Samare. Coming forward is Mavadini, far side. Down the left side of the penalty area. Produces a cross. It's blocked and sent into the air, and it'll go out for a Leicester City corner.
I think from a Leicester perspective, there's positives in terms of first half defensively and moments on the break. And again, you can't be too hard on yourself when you're down there and you lose against these type of opposition. There's other games that will take on much more importance.
They're pushing and shoving inside the 18-yard box, which Sam Barrett was particularly unhappy with on this occasion. Wout Faes being called over to him, Murian Timber as well. Instructions have been issued, and those two then go back into their little sparring session away to our right. 93 minutes on the clock. Ruud van Nistelrooy watches on. Is there a late consolation in this for Leicester City? Corner from Mavadini, far side the right under the goalkeeper Raya, but he watches it all the way, grabs it, and will clear it upfield. There's a problem here for Gabriel. He's slowly getting back to his feet. The referee stopped the clock. The dark arts are not going to knock him off his stride. I think he's emerging as one of the very good referees now, Sam Barrett. Some positive performances in recent weeks, and he's done well to handle this game too. Mikel Arteta has only been to Leicester as a manager 5 times, and he's about to make it 5 wins out of 5. And this is a crucial one, isn't it, Dean? Because of what it does to the league table at this stage. You know, dropping points today after Liverpool dropped points would have been unthinkable, really. But the table now will look a lot prettier for Arsenal. They will close the gap to 4 points ahead of the game with Wolves for Liverpool tomorrow. And they know that Manchester City and Aston Villa are in the fixture list for Liverpool in the next couple of weeks. Here is Mavadini from distance, shooting, blocked by Saliba. It goes back out to the far side. Then into the box, Raya comes out, punches it ahead of Patson Daka. And the ball is cleared by Arsenal, who go on a late counter-attack here. Marino and Rice are joining as well. It's still Ødegaard. Rice is on the near side, gets it into the penalty area. Felt that he was leaving that for Tierney, but he didn't actually connect with it particularly well. The referee's had enough anyway. He ends the game, and it's victory for Arsenal. Leicester lose for the 9th time in 10 Premier League games, but there were positives in that match that they have to try and draw from them. 5 times, though, at home in the row for the first time since 66 without scoring, and first time in 66 years without scoring. It's pretty bleak for Ruud van Nistelrooy, so he has to clutch at straws. It's the other end of the spectrum for Arsenal. Mikel Arteta takes the Gunners to within 4 points of Liverpool. He'll spend the next week closely monitoring their rivals' progress. There is a chance that in a week's time they might close that gap to just a point, just a chance, and then they might start believing